Hi guys, welcome to the extras. This is where I've put all the additional bits and pieces that didn't quite make it into my main video. So the behind the scenes, the extra things I found, and the wildlife I saw. Hope you enjoy. World Point right there. Wonderful. And rots the tree out, because that just fell on my head. So what we see here is the rubbing on a tree by a deer. So this is red or roe, and you can tell this is really fresh because it's still bleeding, we've still got a lot of tacky resin. But deer will do this to kind of rub the velvet off their newly grown antlers. We're on our way to our second set location. You can see these kind of furrows. These used to be used for growing potatoes in a similar crop on the crofts. Brilliant drainage, as you see. And then there's a burn just over there as well. So when we were coming back from our second set location in Torrevig yesterday, we also found this, and this is really cool. So this is called a switch, and it is a deer antler, but it's the deer antler of a really old stag, because what stags do is throughout their life they gradually get more and more and more tines, but then as they get really old, like I said, it switches and they start coming back down to having fewer tines again. So this is a switch of a really, really old deer, which is really, really cool to find. Hi guys, I'm in a little cove just next to Isle of Skye, and I'm going to show you how to know if there's an otter in the area. So the first thing you need to know about otters, that is the Eurasian otter Lucha lucha, is that while they hunt and forage at sea, they need fresh water to be able to keep their coats clean. So that is, whenever you're looking for an otter holt, that is their kind of nest or their den, there's always going to need to be fresh water nearby. Sometimes that's like ponds, lakes. In this case, it's this lovely little burn. So we actually know that there is an otter holt site further up this coast. That's not the coast. Further up the coast there, under a rock. So you also, kind of the big tell you need to look for is going to be a spraint site. This is an otter spraint site right here, but what is it? So to put it bluntly, this is where the otter uses the bathroom. So because of kind of the fish and crustacean rich diet that otters have, their poo has a lot of nitrogen, potassium and magnesium. So if you know a thing or two about gardening, you know that these minerals and elements are found in a lot of fertilizers. And so otter spraint sites are characterized by this very, very bright, richly growing green grass, when you can tell a real difference between the spraint site here and kind of the grass surrounding it around here. Just got a heron there on the other side of the bay. Quite sweet, because that island right there is the heronry, where they nest communally. What's the most we've seen around here, Dad? Like 11? I think when we were paddleboarding at one time. So, quite good. I'm standing next to a little gorse bush. My favourite fact about gorse is that the flowers smell like coconut. Such a weird crossover, but it's absolutely brilliant. One of my favourite things. Hi guys, I'm currently out at Waterloo in Broadford Bay, and I am going fossil hunting. So if you look behind me, over here we have Broadford, got the red coolin right there, and then further behind them we have the black coolin. So like I said, I'm in Waterloo because here we have some really, really well exposed strata from the lower Jurassic. So these are kind of shales and siltstones when this was at the bottom of the sea, and not just kind of coastal, quite deep. And the reason we can tell this is because of what we find in here and what I'm here today for, and that is these graphia. These are bivalves, so two-shelled organisms, and they were benthic sessile organisms, which means they were stationary on the ocean floor. So hopefully I'll find some to be able to show you. Here we have today's haul, all my graphia, and also a sheep vertebra. It's wonderful what you find on these beaches. It's why I like spending so much time on them. But Fossils are what I'm really interested in, and the fossils can tell us so much about the environment we lived in. So I told you earlier how these were from the seafloor, because Skye in the Jurassic was a very, very different place. So we were actually on the more equatorial, for one, a lot warmer, but right up to the north of the island as well. In Staffin and Duntorm we have dinosaur footprint sites from where around this time dinosaurs were squidging through the mud in shallow lagoons and leaving their footprints behind. But the rest of Skye is just as interesting. So the red and the black coolin behind me as well, these are volcanic. So the red coolin are granite and the black coolin are gabbro. And they are the remains of a super volcano that was here in our ancient past. And where I was, just where we're staying in Isle of Skye as well, we have the Lewisian gneisses, which are the oldest rocks in Britain at over 3 billion years old. So really lucky to be in such an area as this with such a diverse and incredible past. So back at the cottage now, and the sheep vertebra I picked up smelled quite strongly of the seaside, to put it politely. So I've got it here. I'm not going to move it because it might go over, in a bag of warm water with some dish soap. Now this will strip the oil out of it, make sure it won't smell anymore. And I'm also going to be cleaning off my graphia. So again, I'm going to do a similar process of scrubbing these down with a wire brush to get all that disgusting gunk off. But first, what I'm going to do is, I've got a couple pieces here where I want to see if I can get some of this additional rock substrate off. So I am going to be using a hammer and a chisel, the geologist's best friend. But to use the hammer and chisel, most important thing is eye protection. Don't care what you think you look like, these need to go on. So this is actually a very interesting piece, it's two together. So I'm going to see if I can very carefully get them apart. Yeah, perfect. Nice and easy. Let's just try and get this little bit off as well. Beautiful. Let's see about this one. One bit off. That's the best we're going to get with that one. Sometimes rocks just don't split, and you've got to respect that. No, you're going to stay like that. There we go. Now it's time to wash. So that's that. My two bags are all marinating here nicely, and I'll let you know how it goes. Here they are, all dried off and all clean and no longer smelling of the sea. So my mum has banned me from bringing back any more graphia, so these are actually going to my friend who also did paleontology, now a teacher, but he's going to be using these for historical reenactment, because in the past people called these the devil's toenails because that's what they thought they were. So they're going to be really useful for him. Catch them mewing on video, see if we can hear them again. They're probably going to... Oh, there we go. Mew. It's quite a good spot for an eyrie. So I think we've got a buzzard eyrie down here. We've just seen them flying around. You can hear them mewing now. This is foxpoo. I mean, I can smell it. That's number one. But number two is the little curly bit at the end.
Literally number two.
Literally number two. So this very charming lump of rock here is some metamorphosed Lewisian gneiss. So the rock I was talking about in my fossil hunting video, this is the same stuff, the oldest rocks in the UK, except this stuff has been superheated and squished underground and chucked back out. That's what metamorphosis is. We can tell that because look, this kind of mineral banding and also these quartz running through very nicely there. So I'm currently standing in front of Duntelve, the second tallest rock in Scotland. So rocks are prehistoric kind of housing structures, theorised to be built by the Picts from about 400 to 200 BC. They're circular, 2 or 3 stories tall, with a double wall and an inner court. So Duntelve is just over 10 metres tall, and it was complete up until the 1700s when it was demolished to provide stone for some barracks, but it's been cared for and rebuilt by Historic Scotland. So Duntelve is also quite special because there are 2 rocks in this area in Glenelg, and that's quite bizarre really to have 2 in such close succession when there's 500 scattered across all of the north and west of Scotland. So the one just up the valley is Duntrodden, so it's thought that they were protecting quite a valuable cattle route or a trade path as well. Yeah, I've read about this cavity wall, this kind of double layered wall structure with a central in the courtyard. So this rock is quite special because it's one of only 2 rocks to have fitting up at the top where they think timber would have gone in to form the layers inside, and we've got stones up there forming a ledge. So we think this roof was thatched or could have been stretched animal skin. But what I've got my eye on is all the different rocks this is made from. We've got some really nice metamorphosed gneiss down there. You see the really clear pink stripes. But what I'm interested in is this. Look at that. So there's got to be limestone in here because that is beautiful precipitated calcium carbonate forming those little stalactites.
Normally more alkaline than acid.
Yeah.
Otherwise they wouldn't survive ash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you see they're dotted right the way through up here as well.
Yeah.
So
that'll be interesting to see what we get back from the indicator. And the little bee's nest as well. That's really cool.
Isn't that good?
You can hear the hum of them, definitely. Good on them. Got some really quite clear deer prints. So where my finger is, you can see the two halves of cloven hoof. Like that. So that's quite cool. Here, these sprouts we see here, these are flag iris or yellow iris. They're found absolutely everywhere in boggy conditions. I've been seeing them all week. They're really common up here, but they're an absolutely beautiful flower when fully grown. So I wish I could almost see them in bloom. Currently in the old Sandeg lighthouse, ready to take the Glenelg to Kylia ferry. So we'll be sailing across there. Here she is. Here she comes.
So this is the turntable ferry.
Yeah. comes out here, goes in there. She's wonderful. I know we're here for the ferry, but take a good look at those rocks. They're nice. Just got back to the cottage. Something I didn't get a chance to show you earlier was near our first site. Picked up an owl pellet. So really looking forward to digging into that and seeing what we can get. I forgot how much of a pain it is to hike through moors, especially when you have this purple moorgrass just covering each and every hole that I step into. I can really clearly see where my dad's gone on ahead, where he's fallen. So wish me luck, we've still got quite a long way to go. Still hiking through moorland, but what we're getting here as we're getting further and deeper in is all of this. Now this is replanted birch. This is going to be regenerative birch to kind of reintroduce local trees into this landscape. So this is really, really good to see. We're seeing it all along banks of the ravine as we get further and further in to our moor. I'm here at Armadale, which is the old seat of Clandonald. You can see the beautiful remains of the castle behind me, but I'm here to visit the Museum of the Isles, which is an absolutely incredible museum covering the history of Skye right from its origin as part of the sea kingdoms right through to the modern day. So I'm going to take you along and show you some really cool bits there, because the information found in this museum I can't find anywhere else online. I have searched, believe me, I have searched. So I think this is going to be really interesting. So this panel here is talking about the first kind of what we call the true Scots coming to Scotland from Ireland and how they settled in Argyll as kind of the centre of their kingdom, but how they developed the first sea kingdom. And then we've got the Norse coming in, and over here we have the story of Somerled, who is the first true lord of the Isles, and then the progenitor of the great clans of Skye. So this section is telling us about Somerled, who defeated the King of Man and drove the Norse out of the Hebrides and out of Argyll, and named himself Lord of the Isles. And this lordship of the Isles carried on for 3.5 centuries. But what's really interesting about him is his name's Norse, but his father's name is Gaelic. And so that kind of implies that he had a Norse father, a Norse mother, but a Gaelic father, which is something really quite special. And he's, named as champion of a lot of things, but in particular, it's said that he invented the rudder, and this is what gave the Hebridean galleys the advantage over the Norse longships and allowed him to gain control of the Hebrides. So this area of the museum tells the breakdown of the lordship of the Isles and the rise of the individual clan systems and the pressure they were put under as part of the Jacobite rebellions, and how that kind of, the defeat at Culloden led to the collapse of the clan system, and which really allowed the English powers to dismantle their ways of life and to completely change the whole system and eventually evolve into the crofting system. So this section is talking about the emigrations of the people, particularly from the Highlands and of the Hebrides out to different regions of the world, especially Canada and North America and Australia, after all the hardship they've been through in the 1700s and 1800s. So it's really quite incredible what these people went through and what what they created really. Some of the first ships out, well, the first ship to Australia sailed from Isle of Skye, where I'm staying right now. That was the William Nicole, and it passed by here where it was given a gun salute. I've got 4 of these scraped out depressions, one just up there and 2 down here. We think they're roe deer beds, so it looks like we've got a little family group here. I have a fawn and a doe, which is quite cool. One of our favourite little plants is here with an enemy. You can see it dotting all up through this section. She's really, really gorgeous.
Yeah, so.
Bilberry. Lovely, lovely sack for our badgers. On the little bit of mossy ground just outside Roger and Pat's. And looking right at us down here, there's a little slow worm, legless lizards. Oh, he's sweet. Let's see if I can. So I'm currently at Loch Inort doing some recording for myself on fish farms, but just in front of me I've got 2 otters fishing. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this on camera for them. They're just bobbing in and out of the waves, but oh, they're gorgeous. I love otters. They're one of my favourite animals, especially here on Skye. Really, really great animals. Oh, they're really good. They're so close. I'm just trying to be careful, be quiet, and stay downwind. Oh, brill. Wrong, there's not 2, there's 3 of them. I don't know if you can see them on video. Oh yeah, you can see just little black dots between the 2 rocks. About halfway between the boat and the shore. Oh, they're brilliant, they're really jumping. Ooh.
They're
Shouting off the boat. You can just see the little heads popping up and down. Oh, brilliant. They are right there in front of me. So I'm currently filming videos about fish farms. And up pop these little guys. Oh gosh, they're so wonderful. So hopefully you remember this owl pellet that I showed you that I found in Glen Uladane. I also wanted to try and take this apart and see if I could see what this owl has been eating, because owls swallow their prey whole and then regurgitate the bones. So hopefully I can find some diagnostics in here, and maybe that'll give me a clue as to what my set 6 badgers were eating as well, because they come from a similar region. So let's find out. I was right, we've got diagnostic material. I have a whole skull, upper and lower jaws, with teeth of what we currently think is field vole. Here they are in all their glory. That's the lower jaw, and this is the upper jaw. These are my teeth, and that's a foot. So it is the first day of my second week up here in Skye, and today we're doing something rather special. So Roger and Pat are taking us with them, so me, my parents and my sister, to join them on the Orion, which is a research and survey vessel that they are using along with a camera fitted ROV sub, miniature one, to research and to categorise and to protect the local seagrass beds off the coast of Skye. So that's really, really exciting, really, really cool. And I'm going to be taking you along with us to see what we can find. So we've got two types of buoyancy aid. My sister is modelling the inflated one. And then me and my mum are in the self-inflating ones. So if these contact water, they will automatically puff up and keep us on our backs. So there's pros and cons to each. This one has some rather delightful crotch straps and also can be a bit dodgy about inflating. But then Lauren's, if you fall on your face, you're scuppered.
And it matches my hat.
Well, good for you. So they've each got pros and cons.
That's why I picked it.
So here we are. Out to load up on the beautiful Orion. So we're currently in Torrin. This is the sea loch. Got the Larven up there. And we're going to be heading out over there to sea.
Because it's windy, the wind picked the dinghy up.
We're pulling the dinghies up to the pontoon. The pontoon's floating, so it's attached to the boat. So when we get where we're going to go, we can then moor and scuttle out a lot easier. Right. Show the rest of the boat. Go down here. We've got a wee kitchen. Anchors are out front, you can see the chain, and you come down a bit more down here. Bunk, storage, and bathroom. So it is a very, very nice setup here. And here we go. We're off, steaming out to sea on the Orion. It's fun. So there's the red cooling made of a red granite, and across the way we've got the black cooling made of gabbro, and you can really visually tell the difference between the two. These two halves of the same mountain range are left from different sections of an ancient supervolcano, and they cover a good chunk of the south of the island, so they're really quite special.
Bring to me the morning and the dawning of the day. Speed up the sun and forward turn the clocks that slow our way. Bring down the moon and shining stars that hold the night time long. Wake up the lark and bid him start to sing tomorrow's song. Get the ferry set for sea as fast as can be done. Let go the ropes and free our hopes of western skies to come. The rising sun to starboard as the boat leaves Oban Bay. Our homeland dreams return in streams and fill the dawning day. But I want to go where the great Atlantic roars, from the cliffs of Kinnevara to majestic Skerryvore, and breathe again the air my island body craves, and feel again the freedom of the land below the waves. Like barley in the wind, we've been scattered far and thin, from the cruelty of the clearings to the pressures we live in. No matter where we roam, over land or over foam, the island pulls the children of the barley to come home. See Ben Irish and Ben Ho in the early morning glow, then houses rising from the sea as land begins to show. You know you're homeward bound, steaming by the Gunner Sound. With passion then you stand again upon your island ground. But I want to go where the great Atlantic roars, from the cliffs of Kinnevara to majestic Skerryvore, and breathe again the air my island body craves, and feel again the freedom of the land below the waves. The the island of Tiree, and its land and soil and sea goes through the bone like fire and stone, and who you're born to be. On the world's fickle face, unyielding anchors to a place, the guiding star of who you are, your people and your race. Stand on Kennevay, or the shores of Hudson Bay, the wilds of Argentina, or New Zealand's earth and clay. Our seats are growing wide, but the roots of island pride will bring us all together on the flooding of the tide. And I want to go where the great Atlantic roars, from the cliffs of Kenavara to majestic Steady-Bore, and breathe again the air my island body craves, and feel again the freedom of the land below the waves. But I want to go where the great Atlantic roars, from the cliffs of Kenavara to majestic Steady-Bore, and breathe again the air my island body craves, and feel again the freedom of the land below the waves.
We are slowing and idling in now to one of the caves. You can see a couple of them over there in this rock. Ooh, that is some beautiful bedding. Look at the angle on that. So that's a really solid unconformity, because you've got these lower layers at the bottom which are diagonal up about 45 degrees, but then on top you've got that sharp transition into horizontal. So that's a really good example of a geological unconformity. You can see a change in the colour as well. And other things like the weathering patterns, part of that might be due to tidal and that kind of weathering, but it's also a pretty good indication of what's underneath the rock. Oh, look at that. And to think barely anyone ever sees this bit, because we're out at sea. It's quite hard to access. Here we go, we're anchoring. So we're sailing. Gotta let the anchor catch. So the Orion's pretty special. She was one of only 4 boats of her type made, originally for Ness and the Caledonian Canal. She's 35 feet long and she's got a 200 horsepower Volvo engine. So, pretty special little boat she is. You can see the rocks a bit better. They're folding. This bottom pale layer, you can see it goes up there. You see, oh, just focus on my finger. A little fold here, and then this curve back up here. Might be channel structures or compressional folding from the Caledonian orogeny.
I was wondering what it was. Right, it's gone.
And he'll be in passage here. Yeah, right.
It's a posh pigeon.
Getting dinghies.
Yeah, really popular.
And we're gonna stroke ashore.
I know you're thinking.
On those two. What's this one?
The hip there.
Cool.
No, you're okay.
I was going to say, hold on to me as well.
All getting in.
Yeah.
It's a little dinghy.
Boat.
It's a dinghy, Lauren.
Boat.
To sail out, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait, good.
I know.
That porridge
That's
is excessive.
no more porridge.
Excessive porridge.
Yeah.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
You're in the
yeah.
middle. Yeah. Just take your time, eh? And remember, no sharp objects in pockets, otherwise that could be an issue.
There we go, very fast.
Can't be an
Very fast down, I think.
Balance.
If you hold
Yeah,
that,
no,
that's
absolutely
very
cool,
important.
yeah,
We'll need
very
that for
good.
the shot. Sorry.
In the shopping bag, you see, my word.
Ah.
Amazing.
Yeah, those are. I think. Yes, if you want to do that, please. Or is it Rolex?
Rolex.
Roller.
Those. What's over that one?
I had to bribe him earlier.
Getting a real good look at that. Sedimentary structures. That's a really good unconformity. Okay. Oh, we've got cross stratification. You're going to pretend like you know what those words mean. Funnily enough, it's when there's two directions in the bedding planes. That's such clear unconformity, that's great.
I totally couldn't guess that.
Look at that diagonal line cutting across there.
My head doesn't turn that way.
I'll show you the video after. That's the, and yeah, that fold right there that we're heading straight into this little cove.
Bring it to that, and then, but I don't know if we'll get across onto the next one.
What about would we go down straight down here, swing round and go down that way, Paul? So see, this one's closed.
Yeah.
It looks to be, it's the best I can see.
Look at that! Look at that, it looks like a huge isopod.
Where?
There!
Oh, it is! Oh, look at him.
It's a mega isopod. He'll be left out from high tide, won't he? Or high tides. Let's see if I can. Where has he gone? There we go. Right, I can take a screen grab of this so we can identify
look
him
at him.
later.
Oh, he's nice.
Quiet here now.
It's nice. Wow. It's proper jungly. Oh, wicked. You good in there? Oh my gosh. Look at those. Oh yeah, there's limestone here, look at that. Look at that calcium carbonate secretions. Don't know how well you can tell, but there is more brilliant calcium carbonate.
It looks like a huge chunk.
Look at the ones up here in this little cave. More in here. If you look here and up there, also you can see really big ones at the back. Maybe. Yeah, look at that. Look at those up there. Where my torch is, Mum. There. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, was there?
Yeah. It's incredible.
Okay, dear.
Yep, I'm just looking at the relation.
Right, I'm gonna climb up there and I'll see you. That is a locked hole, isn't it? Looks, this is huge. I will bring you back when we're at the top. Taking a break halfway up the hill to show you this patterning. So that's going to be because there's runoff from all the way up there.
There's stalactites.
All the way to this patterning down here, and all the way further back down there. No, it doesn't look it, but this stuff is so grippy. Even though there's water running down it, it can stick right on. So where those two headlights are, that's the plateau we saw at the bottom. So we are so high up right now. Look, Mum, I think that's Mum. Yeah, it's just coming straight up because it's so grippy. And look at these on the floor as well, pooling, and right up there. It's incredible. You're doing good, Mum. Do you want a hand?
Back in the day, I found the pool.
So this is all calcium carbonate. So around us there will be limestone, and when water passes through, calcium carbonate secretes out, and then as the water evaporates it forms these kind of structures here. So this is, I don't even want to think how many years of accretion this is to get formations like this. It's beautiful. Yeah, they are coming up now. Yeah, but you can see that wave pattern so much easier here, as well as, I think this is botryoidal patterning. These bulges. It's typically seen in like hematite and iron ore, but it's called botryoidal texture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So I don't know how good the camera quality is here, but you might be able to see when it's dim like this, you can see the rock sparkling. There we go. You can see those dots in the centre, those white ones. That would be all the calcite crystals from the calcium carbonate. I think that's what makes this especially grippy, so that we don't fall. Right, ready to go. Back out the cave, all the way down. You good, Dad? I don't mind going down last. You'll bring up the rear? Okay. I'm gonna give the people a bit of space. I'm just gonna.
Do you want to have that torch?
No, it's alright, I can clip it in somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah. All the way down. Right, my turn. Now,
Oh no.
away we row. Back out to the boat.
Sorry?
Which one's which?
Rum's the big one.
One's bigger.
And then you've got two little ones. Sorry?
A bit more to the right.
And that's A.
I see.
The long flat one. To the right of that beyond.
Right.
The little
Little
shoe.
bit.
So egg, muck, rum.
Then you have a boat. To the right is a boat.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. What I like to see is when they're all floating.
Oh,
You know, you get that condition where you got that
it's just
the
the
horizon and it all appears
oh,
up
God.
there.
You see,
Yeah,
well.
it's amazing.
Well, is that? Have we got anything breaching it over there? Or is it just the wave?
I think it's our wake.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Oh
right.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have diverted away from egg, muck and rum, and we are steaming over to Loch near Gaol. That island there is SOWA, like the sheep. So we're heading out there.
It was really good that James forgot to pick that plant leaf.
Yeah. That you had to
We
go
went
back.
out specially, Paul took us out to get a leaf
4 hours to get there.
for St Bungard.
It's a long
And
day.
he looked at it, photographed it and came back without it. So of course we had to go back
Yeah.
with St Bungard, and there we are, bass sharks,
Yeah.
probably 20 common dolphins.
Yeah.
Remember they came here.
Yeah.
By the time I got the camera ready,
Yeah.
they were almost with us and they were
Aye.
miles back.
I know.
And I've just managed to pan
We had minky wheels as well that day.
Mickey breaching,
Yeah.
breaching at the back of Rod.
Yeah. There
Oh,
was,
it was
I think there was a
unbelievable.
16 basking sharks we had.
Totally.
Then they're back on shore, and the Orion is all parked up. Bye. Little chicks, all snuggling back under mum. These little ones are a week old. Little noisy heads over there are 3 weeks, and the chickens are black rock silky crosses. I'm just gonna sit back on top of them to keep them nice and warm. We're at the community cafe on Skye, and they've got a weather rock. I absolutely love these things, they're great.
If you're really careful, you can see the 3 little beaks.
Oh yeah, there they go. Hi. Little wrens nest.
Yes, indeed.
Little wren's nest, nice.
You know, it's really bizarre that you've got quite a big patch of it,
Yeah.
but it's always been overlooked.
So this is broadleafed enchanter's nightshade, and we're just at the edge of Rogers Wood, and this is the first time that this plant has been recorded in Skye for a very long time. But as my dad was saying, we've got a huge swathe of it all the way up here and into the wood. It's quite a sweet little plant for a name like that, I think. Another little special plant for you. This is the common spotted orchid. Despite its name, it's nowhere near as common as it used to be. I've only really seen them in one place down in Lancashire. At the Scotland picnic site, you sometimes get them, but they are all over the woodland here. You see those little spots of purple, so it's really, really lovely to see them doing so. This is a very important church in the heart of Strath. This is Kilcreast, Christ's Cell or Chapel. Gaelic speakers from the area also know the chapel here as Kilacrow, the Church of the Cattlefold. There's a long tradition of Christian worship here, and it's said that St Mayruva himself preached from Loch Irene, the Hill of the Masses, situated between the church and Loch Kilcreast in the 7th century. Kilcreast served as the parish church of Strath until 1843, when the congregation moved to a new church in Broadford. This church is also really important because it was the heart of the holdings of Clan MacInnes. These pictures show An Sheehan, an imposing Neolithic chambered cairn. An Sheehan means the fairy mound, and it's also the name applied to the nearby hill. This burial chamber contains the remains of the earliest farmers in this area and is one of many scattered around the Broadford area. The massive cairn on the summit of Ben na Callicha probably also dates to Neolithic times, although local legend attributes it to Saucy Mary, a Norse princess who was buried about 5,000 years later. So I'm at Dunvegan Castle, which is the home of the chiefs of Clan MacLeod, and it has been for 800 years. This is the longest single occupancy of a family in the castle in the UK. So Laud, the first chief of Clan MacLeod, started the work on Dunvegan in the 13th century, and today the castle is still lived in by his direct descendant, Hugh MacLeod, the 30th chief of the clan. What you just saw was the legendary fairy flag, or the Ambratan Sea of Clan MacLeod. So this is probably their oldest and most treasured possession. And there's three main legends as to how this, came to be in possession of the clan. The Crusader, the Fairy Tower, and the Fairy Bridge. The Crusader tale goes as follows. MacLeod on a crusade to the Holy Land received food and shelter from a hermit in the mountains. The hermit warned him that ahead was a pass guarded by an evil spirit, a destroyer of true believers, who guarded the pass, and that the MacLeod would need a piece of the true cross to proceed. However, the MacLeod triumphed and he slew the spirit, named the Daughter of Thunder. Before she died, she revealed to him the future of his clan, directing him to take her girdle and make a banner of it and make a staff of her spear. The second version, the Fairy Tower version, says that one night while there were celebrations at Dunvegan, a nurse put the chief's son in his cradle in the Fairy Tower and joined the party in the keep, leaving the child alone. The baby became restless and he kicked off his blanket, whereupon the fairies came and wrapped him in a silken shawl, comforting him. When the nurse collected the child and brought him down in his fairy robe, the room became filled with the sound of unseen singers singing the fairy lullaby. And then the last version, the Fairy Bridge version, says that long time ago, a fairy married a MacLeod chief. They lived together for years until the chief felt the need to return to his own people again. So they parted at the Fairy Bridge 3 miles away from Dunvegan. As a farewell present, she gave him the banner, telling him that when he was hard pressed in battle, waving it would bring victory no matter what the odds. However, this power would only work 3 times. So there has been, more research done into the fairy banner, and we think that most likely this is from Syria or Rhodes and woven in silk in the 4th century. It is most likely that the Norseman Harold Hardrada, an early ancestor of the chiefs of the Clan MacLeod, set out on an expedition to plunder the pilgrim routes in the Middle East and brought the banner with him to England, although he was killed at Stamford Bridge in 1066 when he attempted to invade England to claim the crown off the current king, Harold Godwinson. Harold Godwinson himself would soon be killed at the Battle of Hastings as well, and the crown would pass to King William the Conqueror. So the flag itself has been said to be used before. In 1939, a fire threatened to destroy the castle, and the flag was carried to safety, and then the flames were seen to abate. And during the Second World War, pilots from the clan carried its picture as a talisman. In MacLeod history, during 2 of the clan's recorded battles, the chief waved the flag at the moment of crisis, and it brought them victory. What you just saw was the dungeon of Dunvegan. This is from about 1360. So this is a bottleneck style of dungeon, and it's situated in a small tower off of the medieval structure of the rest of the keep. So it's 13 feet deep and 6 by 4 feet in area, with the last 4 feet of it dug out of the actual bedrock under Dunvegan itself. There was no daylight and no other access to this pit. So the dungeon is between the present day drawing room and the kitchens, and there was a staircase there where food was carried up into the Great Hall. So this was a refinement of torture for these prisoners, who were able to smell the food through the windows while slowly starving to death. So what you just saw was the Great Sword of Dunvegan. This was made by the MacLeods of Sirdal, who were blacksmiths for the rest of the clan, and it was a weapon of great power. This is a claymore, or a great sword, and it would have cost a lot and was typically used mainly by clan chiefs. Its real power is in its length and its weight. The blade is 3 feet long, so nearly a metre, about 90 centimetres, and together with its weight it would have been lethal when it was swung with 2 hands. So this sword is quite difficult to date. Its features suggest late 15th or early 16th century. A description of it is on the tombstone of Alistair Crotach, the 8th clan chief, and it tells us that this cannot be dated after 1528. What makes this sword even more fascinating is that it's made with Scottish iron instead of German steel, which was more commonly used. This is catmint, and like the name says, it'll make your cat go absolutely bloomin' mad. So my sister is currently on top of the Dunvegan Pebble, which is a kind of free spinning sculpture made of 2.7 tons of marble in the Dunvegan Gardens. We've got a little vole in the gardens eating the carnation leaves. Oh, he's so cute.
I can't find him, but there
Look
he is.
at him. He doesn't care about us, does he? He's adorable.
We've got newts in the fountain at Dunvegan.
Oh, here's a newt. A couple of newts here. They're just sunbathing and sitting down. Now,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see him.
there's a
see
newt
the beetle
just
there?
chilling on the surface here.
There he is. Ah,
And the other one just died down.
so cool.
Yeah.
We've also got a water boatman here. Here he is. Yeah, there he is. A second. There he is, skating off. Gigs. A little black dot spinning around on the top of whirligigs.
Oh, he's so cute. That one.
Morning.
Oh, they're beautiful birds, aren't they?
Don't look at me like that, Dad.
So
I love
it's,
the way they look
you
at
said
you.
chaffinch?
Male chaffinch.
Male chaffinch.
I'm deciding between MacGyver and Bob Dylan.
This chap, I think, down below is slightly redder, or it might be because
Oh, sweetheart, how are you?
You're so brave.
Says, well, no, I know that I can get some food.
Could you move your phone slightly so I can grab a photo?
I've this is recording, so I'll be able to get.
very intrigued.
Hi, little chaffinch.
Very, very, very intrigued. Look at the size of it. Alright, okay.
You're starting.
You're a crow.
Do you think I could try and come over? I've got more.
It's the way he goes away with his bits.
That's disturbing. Oh, they are sweet.
Hello, little ones.
I know.
Don't worry, relax.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're so cute.
Their beaks unnerve me.
No.
Oh, there's Mrs. Carrot.
Mr. Rabbit. Oh, it's Mr. Carrot, and he said, I want some of that as well. It's a matter.
Do you want to give me a bit more?
Oh, it's Peter Squeakers. Come on, Mr. Carrot. He came up onto the lawn, he was interested. But it was too big an audience, I think. Rascals, not even looking now. There we are. No, he's gone back.
So when I was up on Skye as well, I went to an event held by the 50 Years of Litter on Skye group. It's a really interesting project being spearheaded by researchers at Loughborough University, looking at how marine and beach litter on Skye has changed over the past 50 years since a paper written in 1953. So they're doing more research. They were in Skye last year, they're in Skye again this year, surveying 9 different sites, but they're also taking a lot of community action. So if you can, I'd say give them a look. They're a really amazing group of people doing some really good work. Thank you everyone for watching my extras video. I hope you really enjoyed what I've got up to behind the scenes, both back on Skye and here doing my post fieldwork analysis. I'd also really like to thank my dad, Will Aston, but also Roger and Pat Cottis, James Merriweather and Rebecca Worthington for helping me do all this and, allowing this project to happen. If you want as well, please also check out, my main video and my Cottis Files video for even more content about this absolutely wonderful award that I've been doing. So thank you very much for watching.